and welcome back to the book review of the month of April. So if you're new here, the book that we're going to be reading for this month is actually The Magic of Thinking Big, the true secret of success, how to earn more, lead fearlessly, and live a happier life. So it says, belief triggers the power to do. In this seminal self-help masterpiece, Dr. David not only motivates and inspires, he gets to the very core of why thinking big will make you live big. Ever wondered and doubted how positive thinking actually works? Then you need to read this book. So it says more than 6 million people worldwide have changed their lives, and now you can too. So the practical steps here that are going to help you defeat disbelief and the negative power it creates. It's going to make your mind produce powerful positive thoughts. It's going to help you make a concrete success building program. It's going to help you do more and do it better, to turn on your creativity power. It is going to also help you capitalize on the power of now. So if you know me and you've actually been following this platform, you know that this is one of the books that actually changed my life. It was the first book that I ever owned and I ever read, and it was given to me by my uncle when I was actually in a state of just not knowing what to do with my life after I was done with my college. That was 2019. So this book is very dear to my heart. So I'd actually recommend you to actually read this book and take time to just digest it and get each and everything, because as we are doing our reviews, we're not going to actually go into each and every detail, but we're going to give out the most important items from the book. And also for some information that we actually dive deep and do personal work, and we actually do it under the reading coaching program that I'll share a link below for some of you who may be interested. For that one, we actually do personalized book reviews so that you actually get the full benefit of the book, and we help you digest it fully according to your needs, your weaknesses, and your strengths, so that actually after the book review, you're able to feel that you've actually improved, you've grown, and you've actually become a better person. So if you're interested in that program, I'm going to share the link, and you're going to just go through it and pick the program that is ideal for you, so that you actually start living fearlessly and leading a happier life. So let's get right into it. When we look at the introduction of this book, we actually see that David points us to one of the great philosophers, as he says, who is David from the Bible, who actually says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So this just shows us how much the thinking, or what we feed our brain, how much that actually affects us, how it contributes to our well-being, our lifestyle, and all that we can be and all that we will ever be in this life. So as a man thinketh, so is he. That actually tells us that when you are actually facing certain circumstances, as we are actually going to learn more from the book, it is not about the circumstances or the environment you are in. It is actually about your thinking. It is your thinking pattern that has kept you in that position. It's your thinking pattern that has actually put you wherever you are and in whatever circumstance that you may deem yourself to be in. So there's a story in the introduction about Harry. So Harry was getting 5 times more than actually his fellow peers at his workplace, and people actually used to say so many things about him, saying he's not doing the right thing, or maybe he's doing some mischievous things behind their back. But actually what was helping him was because he used to think 5 times more than them. Whenever there was a problem, whenever they needed a solution, Harry was always there to think more, to be fast, to be creative, and that put him ahead. So that just talks about how his thinking, how his brain just put him ahead in his career path. So chapter 1 talks about believe you can succeed, and you will. So what is success? Success is a lot of things to a lot of people. There are so many different definitions of success, even with myself. Others will say success for them is just freedom. Others will say success for them is actually reaching the corporate ladder, building that company, owning that car. Someone will just say, for me, success is I can provide for my family. I have the freedom to take them to luxurious vacations. I can afford the meals, and I can afford a basic standard life and be happy. that can be another person's success. So success can never be defined. Although society tries to actually pin down success to only the basic of what we can see, what we can achieve, success is bigger. Success can just be happiness, it can just be peace of mind, it can just be joy, it can just be good health, it can be a lot of things. So define what success is for you as we are actually going through this journey, so that it will be a better way of you to actually, I feel like I'm going now into the personal coaching, because that's what I normally like to talk about, to actually to make it personal and actually help you dig out what success is and what you define it by your own terms. So define that, yes, and go as you go through the book, that will be very necessary. So when you believe you can move a mountain, it actually becomes possible. So the Bible actually uses this impossible quote, which is a mountain. But a mountain can just be any obstacle in your life. It can be anything that you seem to be very impossible, very big, or something that is just beyond your manpower. It could be that. But for you to actually move that mountain, whatever your mountain is, whatever your Goliath is in your life, you actually need to believe you can do it, and then you will succeed. So career-wise, if your dream is to go ahead to be that CEO, to be that branch manager, to be that executive, to be that board member, you actually need to believe you can, first of all, because that is what is going to actually guide you. That is what is going to put you ahead. When you change your mindset and know that you can actually achieve that particular thing, what you do, how you carry yourself, all starts to align to that belief system. So start thinking of those patterns and identify where you want to be, what your definition of success is. You can actually broaden it and talk about it. Career-wise, what's your definition of success? Relationship-wise, what's your definition of success? Spiritually, what's your definition of success? Have a definition of success for almost all areas of your life, so that you're able to determine if you're moving in the right direction, or you need to revisit and rebrand yourself or evolve and move forward. So how do you develop the power of belief? Firstly, we develop it by thinking success. So most of us actually spend so much time thinking and worrying about things that are not there. We're always thinking of, what if I fail? What if I can't make it? But what if you actually spend time thinking of your success? Think of, what if I actually get to the top of that career ladder? What if I actually get that dream job that I want? What if I actually get that money that I'm looking for? Think success. The more you think about success, the do-how actually starts coming to you. Ideas starts coming to you. Your creativity. I always like to say, human beings, the biggest power we have is our creativity. So when you start being creative and thinking about your success, your brain automatically starts looking on what to do to make that dream become a reality. So spend much of your time thinking about success. If you've actually realized, you notice that every time you think about success, you actually get energized, you actually get driven, you actually just have these endorphins that just pop up in your body, because that is what you're supposed to do. Secondly, believe you're better than you think you are, because most of the times we are. Human beings, we have this voice in our head that just tells us we are not as much as we actually think we are, or you don't deserve certain things. But actually, when you start dominating over that thought and start believing that you're more than you think you are, it actually helps, and it helps you fight those barriers in your brain. Because mostly, before we actually fight the enemy that is outside, we have very big enemies inside. Even if we like to project and say it's because of this and because of that, it is most times it is because of what we have inside and what we are battling, what we haven't faced. So it is very important for us to actually know that we are better than we think, we are better than who we really are. So the second chapter talks about excusitis. So if you're a scientific person, you know that just from that term, it's like an inflammation of excuses. But yeah, so this is a disease, according to David, that is suffered by most unsuccessful people. So what this is just excuses. It talks about how much we are constantly battling with excuses. We come up with excuses for each and everything. Whenever we are scared of making a step, whenever we're scared of taking a leap of faith, we come up with excuses. We come up with all sorts of explanations on why we can't do certain things. So he breaks it down and gives us the forms of excuses that we actually have. So we have the health excuse. no, I am sick, my heart is not well, I have this condition, so I cannot show up in this form. And most times you actually don't really have the condition, but because you are constantly looking for that condition, you end up finding it. Sometimes you may think, no, I come from a lineage of diabetic people, of hypertensive people, so I cannot have a job that has so much pressure. I need more free time, I need what? But you don't really have the disease. Yes, you're making a healthy excuse on something that you don't really have. And there's some other circumstances where you are actually sick and you have a certain condition. But what really happens is that you actually need to change your mindset from making excuses, say you can't do particular things because of health reasons. You actually need to change your mindset and say, I am going to live until I die. I am going to show up each and every day. I actually like to give an example of this mighty man, Felix Galamkani. I love that man so much. And he's one man who actually lived up to his last breath. He gave his all. He was there to motivate us, to inspire us. Even us who were actually well, we actually needed motivation and inspiration from him, because he decided to say his illness, his sickness was never going to be a barrier. He was going to fight through. So if you don't know about his story, I would actually recommend you to get some inspiration from his life. He lived a very good life and a very good legacy. So find time to actually look that, and as you make those healthy excuses, please know that there are people who are actually far more worse than you are, and so you need to be grateful. So refuse to also talk about your health. Most times we think that the more we talk about our ailment or our afflictions, we feel like we're gaining respect from people, which is not true. People don't respect us when we are complaining. It is actually the opposite. We take away from ourselves. It is okay to mention your illness, but if you're going to constantly use that as a complaint, you're constantly going to use that as a way of getting sympathy and whatnot, you're actually demeaning yourself. You're removing from yourself. So talk less about your illness or your family history, diseases, and whatever it is you may be facing, so that you gain that respect, you gain that surety that is needed for your success in your career. So refuse to also worry about your health. This also takes us back to the previous chapter where you just talked about what we think about. Whatever we worry about, whatever we think about actually grows. So if you're going to spend much of your time worrying about certain ailments that may not be as bad as you think they are, you actually give birth to it. You actually make the sickness stronger. You make yourself weaker. So it's very important for us to actually refuse to worry about it. Don't worry about it. Think about the positive side of it. Think about ways that you're going to actually use that sickness to your ability. Use that to inspire someone. Use that to motivate someone. Find ways of empowering or saving someone's life because of your illness. That's one of the strategies that you must incorporate to your sickness. So we also have the intelligence excuse. And this is very interesting because actually 95% of us suffer from this one, and we suffer silently. There's a study actually that was done, and it was realized that actually 50% of people are most likely to apply for a middle-class job than they would for an A-class job. You find that only about 10% of the population will go and apply for that. Not because there are any regulations, not because there are strict rules, but simply because people undermine themselves. They think they're not intelligent enough to be that CEO. They think they're not intelligent enough to govern or to run that company. They think they're not intelligent enough, and they do it silently. They don't even voice out or say it. It's just there. It's a belief that they have believed in themselves, that they're just not capable of it. So it is actually important for us to never underestimate our brain power, and never overestimate another person's brain power. So under intelligence excuses, we actually find a very interesting story about Henry Ford. So Henry Ford, for some of you who may not know, he's the founder of the Ford. Yeah, I'm sure some of you, that's some of your dream cars. That's that very luxurious car. So he was called for an interview by the Chicago team. So they questioned him to say, because there were all these stories saying he's not as intelligent as he is. So they actually started questioning him about revolution, about wars, about all the thoughts that they thought an intelligent person is supposed to know. And his answer was very, very straightforward and simple. He said, I can call someone right now who can give me all those answers, and so I do not have to keep those facts in my brain. So this shows us as a solution of those other people who may have this instance of thinking, I am not intelligent enough. What you need to know is your attitude about your intelligence is far more important than actually your intelligence itself. What I mean by that is, if you know you are not as intelligent as you are, which may not be as true anyway, it is important for you to actually know that you are capable of bringing other people on board who have the talents or the specialties or whatever it is that you lack. You're able to consult them. They're there. People are everywhere. Information is everywhere. And we're in an era of knowledge. So knowledge is always there. It's out there everywhere. So Henry Ford used that ability to say, I may not have that specialty, but I can buy that knowledge, or I know where to find that knowledge. They say wisdom is knowing what you don't know and what to do about it. So that's some side of wisdom that you need to actually work with your intelligent excuses. You need to know your brain power is more capable than you think it is. Other people's brain power is more capable than you think it is. And you have the ability to actually face each and every challenge that comes and find better solutions. If you don't know what to do or how to go around whatever it is, know that people are always there. Your brain power can work, other people's brain power can work, and you're able to actually source all other information that you may need. So today we're going to talk about the age factor. And this is one of my very, very important excuse that most people like to give, to say, I'm too old for this, or I'm too young for this. I don't know, maybe let me grow up, maybe when I grow up I'll do this, or I wish I was 25 or I was 20 years old so I'd have at least done this thing. That is one of the sorry, but I think it's one of the dumbest excuses that one can ever give, because you're never too old, you're never too young to actually make a difference or to move forward in your career, in your workplace, to make a shift in your life, in your finances, in your spiritual journey. You're never too old, you're never too young to make any change. So please, never have that excuse with you. At least if I'm ever going to talk to you, don't ever say that to me. At least never say that to me. Two people that actually inspire me on this journey, and I'm going to talk about them. So this is, first and foremost, it's Jesus. We see that Jesus is one person who only lived up to 33 years, and his impact is profound. His impact up to date, like, everybody knows about this man. When you look at what he managed to do, even on his death, he still didn't finish all that he needed to do. There was so much evangelism to do. There were so many other people to reach, but it was time for him to go. That shows you to say he still had the energy, but only his time was done. So we need to have that vision that even if we are old, even if we think we only have 5 years to go, or we think we only have 2 years to go, we need to know that we can make so much, we can make so much impact, we can actually change people's lives, we can touch people's lives. So we should never actually subscribe to that. And I love what Priscilla Shirer actually talks about. She actually says, if you're 20 years old and you only have up to 28 years to live, you are an old person. And if you are 50 years old and you have up to 30 years to live, then you are very, very young. So this, I think, just summarizes how your life can actually it's not guided by how old you are. It is all about how far you're going and how much impact you can have. So have that at the back of your mind. One other giant, or one other queen that actually changed my life was my mom. Some of you that know me, you know that I lost my mom when she was actually 30. I was pretty young. I think I wasn't even a teenager yet, but I saw how she lived her life, how she actually gave back to society, how she gave back to her family, how she loved hard, how she just served others. You know, the impact that you can have, it doesn't mean your impact needs to be worldwide. Your impact can just be your family. We are all in ministry. Your ministry can just be your friend. It can just be your spouse. It can just be your children. you need to impact them in a very, very, very profound way, that even if you're gone 10, 20 years from now, they should still remember and recall you because of the impact that you've had on their growth, on their values, on everything that makes them. And when people look at what you're doing, they should be able to actually at least be proud and say, if it wasn't for that person, I don't know where I would have been. So my mom is one of the person who has actually shaped me, and because she actually lived that short, I thank God actually. It's one of the things that has helped me to actually be very careful on the decisions I make, on how I want to live my life and how I want to impact others, because age is just a number and you can be gone anytime. And as we know, if we are 20 and you only have up to 25 to live, then you are an old person. You're pretty old because you have limited time. And if you're 50 and you only have up to 80, then you are pretty young because you still have a gap of 30 to make a difference and to make an impact. So have that at the back of your mind every time you think you're ever too old or too young to make a difference. So the other thing is actually the bad luck. I have bad luck, or I just don't have as much luck as other people do. There's no bad luck. There's nothing like bad luck, and there's no good luck either. Actually, luck is when preparation, when circumstances meet with the right opportunities. That is what people call luck. So you actually need to have discernment. You need to know what you need to do at a particular period of time so that you're able to make those changes, adjust your lifestyle, prepare for whatever it is, whatever season that you may be in, or whatever season that we are in as a nation, as a country as a whole. You need to discern and then prepare for those opportunities, because they will come knocking. Opportunities are constantly there, but it is only those who are prepared and who are ready to take on the journey, to take on the fight heads on. Only those are the ones who are going to succeed, and then we call those people lucky. But then it is not luck, it's preparation. When you mix it with discernment and you're able to just flourish and just make proper decisions, that is what luck is. So never think you have bad luck. Never think you're unfortunate, or you just don't have whatever you need to succeed. That can always be prepared, that can always be learned. So start preparing for that chapter. Chapter 3 talks about building confidence and destroying fear. So if you remember the book that we actually just reviewed, which was The Introvert Entrepreneur, we were talking about fear. And we actually understood and learned that fear is an emotion that we need to work with. It's an emotion that we need to dissect, not something we need to suppress. People mean well when they say, don't worry, you're just overthinking, just brush it off, but it never works. We all know that. We all just say yes, thanks for the encouragement, but we know that deep down it didn't work. We are still just as scared as before they say the word. So we need to understand that fear is an emotion. If you actually missed that teaching, you can go back and just check it out, The Introvert Entrepreneur. I think that was the first book review when we talked about it. So find time and go through it and catch up on that. So how do you build confidence from that? We need to understand that confidence is not something that you're born with. No one is born with confidence. Confidence is something that is acquired and it is developed. Nobody is born with it. And it is only acquired through showing up, through discipline, through constantly pushing yourself to the edge until you're actually confident enough. That fear goes, that imposter syndrome goes, because you've been showing up, you've been taking action. That is actually one of the solutions to fear. How to overcome fear is by showing up. It's by being present. It's by going after whatever it is that is scary to you. That is one of the biggest solutions of fear. Working with it, understanding how the fear works, how it's come about, understanding all those parts, that is what is going to actually help us get rid of the fear and build that confidence. So be out there and just go after whatever it is that you want. For me, actually, I have this one quote that I like to make. Perhaps I actually overused it, but it's from Esther in the Bible, and it says, if I perish, I perish. So whenever I have a very challenging situation and I know I need to make a decision and I can't find myself to just be in that state of just making the decision, that is my metaphor. I'm just saying, God, if I perish, I perish, but this needs to be done. And most of the time, whenever I go heads on like that, I have never failed at anything whenever I put that in my mind. And my mind automatically knows that we are not going anywhere with this fear. So it automatically backs off and just lets me move confidently. So find what works for you, find metaphors that work for you, and just find that and move with it. Whenever that fear comes knocking, cooperate with it. If it can't, if you've reached the marks, you've tried everything, just go heads on. If you've analyzed, you know it's good for you, you know that it is very beneficial to you and to others, go for it. Just go for it, because from doing that, you're actually building even your self-confidence. You're building your self-trust. Another thing is always listen to your instincts. Your instincts or your inner voice already knows what you want. They already know who you're going to become. They know who you want to be. So it is very important for us to actually move with that and always listen to our instincts and our inner child, because as we are doing that, we're actually affirming ourselves. We're actually able to move forward because we know that we can trust ourselves, and our heart is even better off with telling us more things that we need or how we need to move when the heart knows that we actually listen to it. When we listen to our instincts, the universe or God actually constantly talks to us through our instincts. So when we actually get those voices and listen to those voices, you find that you have more and more deposits in your heart, in your spirit, in your mind of what you need to do, how you need to carry yourself, even the basic things of what you need to eat in a day or how you're supposed to carry yourself, what you're supposed to wear. You find that your instincts already know all those things. So let's be deliberate, let's show up confidently, let's destroy that fear. And thank you. We've actually reached the end of the book review for today, and please join us next week. So next week we're going to actually dive into how to actually think big. So don't miss, every video will be posted on a Friday. So be on the lookout and catch up on whatever it is that you have missed. And don't forget to subscribe. As you go through this video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, share it with a friend. That would be so helpful. And also give us feedback. Please give us feedback on what you'd like to hear more, or whatever it is that any questions that you may have, whatever clarity that you may need. Please leave it in the comment section. If not, we'll share a contact number that will be in the video, and you can just take that and just send us a WhatsApp or give us a call. Thank you so much, and God bless.